Have you ever stood at the edge of the ocean, staring out into the horizon, feeling the endless rhythm of the waves washing upon the shore? Most of us at some point have marveled at the sheer power and beauty, but have you ever wondered, where do these waves come from? What causes them to travel across entire oceans? And what's really happening beneath the surface? Today, we're going to dive into something that most people might not think about, but is absolutely fundamental to life on Earth: ocean swells. You might just see waves when you look out at the water, but there's so much more going on. Ocean swells are one of the most powerful and far-reaching forces on our planet. They impact ecosystems, weather, even the air we breathe. Yet despite their significance, they remain a bit of a mystery to many people. Today, we'll break down what ocean swells are, where they come from, why they're so important, and how they're connected to so many other aspects of life on Earth. By the end of this, you'll understand swells in a way only few people do. So, what is an ocean swell? All right, let's start with the basics. What exactly is an ocean swell? I used to think all waves were just waves. Wind blows across the surface, water moves, boom, a wave. But that's only part of the story. A swell is more than just a surface ripple or a splash against the shore. It's a wave that has traveled a long way, usually from the middle of the ocean, where it is usually born in a storm and some far-off weather event. When wind blows across the ocean, it transfers energy to the water. These disturbances in the water start off as what we call wind waves. Think of it like when you throw a rock into a pond and you see the ripples spread out from where it hit. In the same way wind hits the ocean's surface, it creates ripples, or wind waves. That, over time, can turn into larger swells. Now here is where it gets interesting. In the middle of an ocean, when a storm generates strong winds, those winds can create massive amounts of energy. This energy radiates out in all directions when the wind dies down. The energy doesn't just disappear, it keeps traveling through the water as a swell. Now, here's the kicker. These swells can travel for thousands of miles across an entire ocean basin. That's right, some of these waves crashing at your local beach might have started their journey on the other side of the planet. The energy from these storms can keep going even after the weather's calm. Now, if you're thinking, so what? Waves are cool, but why should I care? Let me tell you why swells matter more than you might realize. Think of the ocean like a giant living organism. If you zoom out and think about how swells move throughout the ocean, it's almost like they're the heartbeat of this massive living system. These swells are constantly transferring energy across vast distances where they shape coastlines. They help regulate marine ecosystems, and they even play a role in weather patterns. Swells are more than just surface waves. They move at various depths, affecting life from the surface to the deep sea. Let's talk about how swells interact with marine life. Think about this for just a second. Swells are responsible for moving oxygen, nutrients, and even marine organisms across the seas. It's like a conveyor belt that keeps life in the ocean going. Take whales, for example. These massive creatures use swells as part of their migration patterns. They follow the currents and swells to travel across entire oceans. Without these oceanic highways, migrations would be much more difficult. The ocean's pulse guides them. And it's not just big animals. Tiny, tiny plankton, which form the base of an entire marine food chain, rely on swells to move around them. Without swells, entire ecosystems would starve. Plankton get carried to the surface where they could feed on sunlight. Bigger fish follow the plankton, and then even bigger predators follow them. It's all connected. So when you're thinking about ocean swells, you're not just thinking about waves hitting the shore. You're thinking about the entire food web and how life in the ocean moves and thrives. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about one of the biggest issues of our time: climate change, and how it's affecting the ocean swells. You see, the wind patterns that generate swells are changing as our planet warms and storms are becoming more intense and unpredictable. This means that extreme swells more intense storms, and bigger impacts on coastal communities. We're already seeing beaches erode, homes get washed away, and ecosystems thrown off balance. Swells that used to be manageable are now causing significant damage. So, what can we do? We need to understand the ocean's dynamics better than ever by respecting the ocean and learning how swells work. This will allow us to design solutions that work with the ocean rather than against it. That means everything from better coastal management to smarter engineering. Now, you might be wondering, how do we actually impact swells? Well, we might not change the swells directly, but our activities such as pollution, coastal development, and overfishing are affecting the health of our ocean systems. When we pollute the ocean or overdevelop coastlines, we disrupt natural processes. Swells help redistribute nutrients and oxygen, and when we mess with the balance, marine life suffers. Coral reefs, for example, rely on the delicate balance of waves, currents, and water quality. Messing with that can lead to the unfortunate event called coral bleaching, and this leads to a loss of biodiversity. By taking care of our oceans, by reducing plastic waste, supporting sustainable fishing practices, and protecting marine habitats, we can help maintain the balance. We can help ensure that swells continue to play their vital role. So, why does this all matter? Why should you or I even care about swells? Here's the thing. Ocean swells connect us all. Whether you live near the ocean or far inland, they influence the air you breathe, the food you eat, and even the climate patterns that impact your daily lives. Understanding swells gives us insight into how the ocean works, how life within it is sustained, and how it's all connected to the health of our planet. And the more we know, the better we can protect it. You don't need a degree to get into this stuff. All you need is curiosity, passion, and the willingness to learn. And who knows, maybe one day you'll find yourself as passionate about ocean swells and ocean conservation as I am. So next time you're at the beach or even thinking about the ocean, take a moment to consider the swells, the heartbeat of the sea. The more we understand these incredible forces, the better equipped we are to protect our oceans and ultimately ourselves. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed that and got some value out of it. If you did, please watch the next one. And remember, one like, one subscribe to help us be better, one swell at a time.